Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm here to talk about a shoe that I'm really surprised about, and maybe not so much in a good way. If it's your first time here, do me a favor, hit that like button. Also do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out, helps me out. I appreciate you guys. We're really in a weird in-between space now as far as Jordan releases are concerned. Anytime in the last 3 months, you couldn't have told me that any Jordan Retro will be sitting. And that's not to say that this particular shoe is sitting, but both Flint releases, I'm talking about the red Flint 13s and the Flint 7s, are, pretty lukewarm with the community. This particular shoe, especially for being a Jordan 1, didn't exactly light the world on fire. Because it is a Jordan 1, we know that it's going to sell out. And, pretty much selling out shouldn't really mean a whole lot to you. It doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. You buy what you like. At least that's the way it should be. But that's not always the case in this day and age. Nowadays, it really is a reseller's paradise. And for me, personally speaking, I think that's the reason why this shoe sold out. Not so much that it was that good, but just because it is a Jordan 1. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. That being said, this shoe is on loan to me. My homeboy let me take a look at it. I wasn't so fortunate enough to cop, but I don't think I had plans to cop it anyway. I'm gonna pick up a couple of these shoes behind me, and I'll tell you why I wasn't so enthusiastic to cop this shoe. We do have your standard Air Jordan 1 box, black, red, what else is new? Size tag reads, Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG, black, light smoke gray, white. Top of top, white waxy paper. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is. I am pleased to present to you the Air Jordan 1 Shadow 2.0. So let's talk about it. You do have that red color blocking, red typically meaning you do have black on the toe as well as here on the side, and where the Chicago color scheme you had red, you do have in fact have that light smoke gray here. Now, as far as materials are concerned, that's where it kind of turned people off. We do know that Jordan Brand does use synthetic materials across all of the Jordan 1s. Some feel a little bit better than the others. Some have tricked us into thinking that we have premium leather, when really it's just a soft, tumble synthetic material that we do have. In this particular case, it really feels like this is a synthetic leather, although it's on the higher end of a pure synthetic leather. It's a smooth leather on the side as well as on the toe box. There's no tumbleness to it at all, which we've come to expect, although this is not entirely that bad. Even on the smoke gray part, where we would assume that there is a nice either suede or soft leather, it does feel a little bit stiffer than what we're accustomed to, so therefore people are thinking that the materials on this shoe just aren't up to par. Now, I don't have this shoe, but apparently the problem is the Shadow 1.0 does have a really premium feeling leather material on it. As some would say, it is a very buttery feeling leather with a nice tumble all around it. So when the doctors got this shoe in hand, it was a far departure from what they were expecting. Also, if I'm not mistaken, this is a light smoke gray according to the box, which I do believe is a tad bit lighter than what's on the Shadows that released back in 2018. Like I mentioned before, you do have black on the toe box, on the side, on the collar, and underneath the strap. You do have a black mesh tongue with a black mesh tag with that shadow color, Nike Air on it. You do have that light smoke gray colorway everywhere else around the toe cap, up the eye stays, on the collar, as well as the heel. Down here in midsole, you do have a pure white, which thankfully Nike did not use sale. If you guys remember the 2020 Jordan 1s that released, Nike went crazy with the sale all around here on the bottom. Standard radio traction right there in black, standard black lace, and Jordan Brand obviously gave us another option with the shadow color lace. So for me, like I said, I don't think the shoe was that bad. I will say, however, if the climate was a little bit different, if it was 2018, 2019, I do believe this shoe would have sat on the shelf. And that's a shame because I'm a little bit unprepared to talk about the history of the shoe. I do know that this actual color blocking was a sample way back in 1985. Essentially, this shoe was presented to whoever picked the colorways of the original Jordan 1, and this sample was not chosen, but it did exist, and this is a remaster of that particular shoe. Now, the Shadow 1.0 is a shoe that actually did get released and remastered so often every couple of years or so. So as I mentioned, this particular shoe is the reason why I didn't lose sleep on not copping the Shadow 2.0. Yes, there are some stark differences, including the hyper crimson collar at the top, and it's lace, which is, a option. But I do believe that the material on this shoe is far superior than what's present on the Shadow 2.0. As you can see, the color blocking is incredibly similar. And although some people don't like the text that's here, I don't happen to mind it. This is short hair suede, which is actually very close to what comes on a Hyper Royal one that just came out. On the toe box as well as on the side, we do in fact have that tumbled leather I think people were expecting to come on this shoe. Again, this shoe did come with the black lace as default. And if I were to lace it up with a black lace, and you can kind of look past the Hyper Crimson colorway, I do think most people would consider this to be a superior shoe, myself included. In addition, although initially slept on, I do think the New York City to Paris shoe is also a little bit better than the Shadow 2.0. This particular shoe does in fact have that Chicago color blocking, just meaning that there is white here, and the eye stays and the toe box are all the same color. But I still think you get the gist. This one also has a multitude of lace pops to go with it. Just for illustration's sake, I popped the black ones in, and I do think this one is also a superior shoe to this one. And that pretty much goes for the other shoes behind me as well. I feel that way about the materials and the look of the smoke gray one as well. Although very much different, being a woman's exclusive and having that black toe colorway, I do appreciate this shoe much better than Shadow 2.0. I definitely have my fill of gray shoes in my collection. I do think that this is a solidly executed shoe, but I think it's a little bit of a miss considering the quality of shoes that we've become accustomed to over the last 2 years or so. Not to mention, it has big shoes to fill, being the namesake of the highly coveted Shadow 1.0. Perhaps if that shoe didn't exist and this shoe came out as a standalone, maybe in a different time, in a different place, people may appreciate this shoe a little bit more. Again, the shoe sold out. I do believe resale is fairly low right now, so if you want to cop these, I think you can do it for just a little bit over $200, which is not bad. But again, I just don't think I have to have this shoe, and that's just me being honest. However, if you don't have an abundance of gray shoes, I do think this is a solid pickup, somewhere around 7.5. With all that being said, I hope you all find this video very informative. I hope it eases your mind and gives you a little bit of direction in which way you want to go. Like I said, this shoe is on loan from my homeboy, so no on feet today. Sorry to disappoint you guys. That's about it. So let me know down in the comments below, do you think this is a hit or is it a miss? Did Jordan Brand do right by this, or could they have executed this just a little bit better? I appreciate you guys sticking in there with me. Always follow me on my social media for more content. I will link that all down below. Check out my other videos on all my other great Jordans. I got the Jordan 7 PSG guys coming up. I think you're gonna really like that. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good one. I'm out of here.